Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're safe and well. In this video we'll be revisiting the How Low Can You Go project. So let's roll those titles. So we're back out in the shed again. I guess it's that time of year where it's not really conducive for videoing outside. Forecast said that it was going to be dry today, so I plan to get all my outside videoing done in the garden, and it's actually a fine rain, and it's saying it's going to be fine tomorrow. Well, I'm not going to take a chance on that, so it is what it is. We need to get it done. So we're revisiting. This is part 2 of the budget HFT How Low Can You Go project. Then what we're going to try and do in this video is do all those bits and pieces that we need to do to the rifle to get it ready for shooting on the range. So let's get on with it. Right, last time we fitted the scope, first thing that we've got to do left over from that is to check that the reticle's vertical on the scope, and also check the eye relief. So I've got a plumb bob hanging on the front of my shed, and I've also got a line that I drew with the spirit level. Nothing like being prepared and you know, belt and braces. So first off we'll check the reticle, and then while I'm doing that I can see whether the eye relief's fine. So in the shoulder, and immediately that I put that on there I can see that the reticle is vertical, so that's not a problem. Yeah, check that on both lines, that's fine. But I do notice that that scope just needs to come back a fraction. Now I've got it against the stop on the rail there, so I think what I might do is I'll take that off. That'll allow me to slide it a bit more. If I've got these torqued up enough, I won't need to worry about the stop, because if these are properly torqued up, the recoil shouldn't move those. I'll have to make a mark on the breech and keep an eye on it. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so that's sorted. Not torqued up yet, but I've got it sort of tight enough, and we'll have a go at starting to zero the scope. So I put a target out roughly about 10 yards. We're going to just check the windage. No wind today anyway, but we'll do it at the close range and get an idea where the pellet's going before we extend out to 25 yards. Pellet's firing very low, but it's not far off the right there, but it is going to be firing quite low at this range. So let's take the turret off. We are about 5 mil off to the left, so we want to click to the right, so we give it a try 3 clicks to begin with. Remember to aim further up the target, compensate for the pellet drop. A little bit off to the right. Another 3 clicks. That's smack bang on the line, so we'll leave that as it is there for now. What we need to do now is move back to 25 yards and check the elevation. Here's the target that we used for adjusting the windage then. There was the first shot down the bottom there. Second shot, made the adjustment, smack on the line there. Well, trying to get this done today has been an absolute nightmare. I had to take a break from earlier because of barking dogs and shouting kids and everything. So, oh, and the rain. So anyway, I need to crack on and get this elevation sorted, and then we'll leave the range card for today, and hopefully the weather will be better tomorrow. So what we're going to do then, we're set up on the table at 25 yards. I've got the target back out. And we're just going to make any adjustments we need to the elevation turret to get us up onto the horizontal line that I've got marked on the target. So let's go. Well, here we are then. It's the following day. As you can see, weather's a lot nicer today. Forecaster's actually got it right for a change. Yesterday started off okay, but it didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve yesterday. Tried shooting sort of late into the afternoon, but started to lose the light and got difficult. So we'll start afresh today. I put a fresh target out. I did get some sort of 0, so we've just got to do a bit of fine tuning really and see how we go. So let's get going, shall we? A bit more up elevation. Well, as you can see, I'm no longer shooting from the table. I must admit, to be honest, I was really struggling, and was getting the odd small group, and then the shots were widening out some more, and I couldn't get my head around what was going on. I mean, I appreciate that it's a new gun and I've got to get used to it. But then I thought, well, I never shoot real springers off of tables. I always shoot my springer from a peg. So I thought I'll get my temporary peg out and see if that makes a difference. And made a big difference straight away. A couple of things that I'm learning about this thing here is that the trigger needs a good bit of adjustment. I mean, there's so much travel in the second stage. You pull and you pull and you pull and you pull, and eventually you think you've pulled the trigger back outside the trigger guard, and it goes off. Also, sitting up at the table, I was struggling a bit with the low sun, with the glare. So I put the scope enhancer on, and that's made it a little bit easier, stopping the glare from the eyepiece. So in this position, I've had much better results. I'll get the 2 targets and we'll have a look at them. But it's getting there. I mean, certainly I've realised that you know, this is more of a challenge than I thought it'd be, getting this gun ready. But say it's early days. I mean, it's probably not even had 100 pellets for it yet. It's going to need a couple of hundred or a few hundred pellets for it to settle the spring down. But so far so good. So we'll go and get the target and we'll have a look at the targets. Okay, let's have a look at these results then. And I always like to be transparent with my shooting, like pretty open and honest about the results. So let's have a look at this first card. Look at the state of that. You can see why I was getting a bit demoralised. I started doing these elevation shots just to check the zero, and then gradually brought it down until I got it lined up. And then I chose this line to get the windage in. I was off to the side there and I did this. And I thought, oh, I'll start sort of, you know, that's quite close to the centre there. I'll start aiming there, and I got a 2-shot group there, and I thought, fine. Went up to this top corner, first shot, straight in the middle, and I thought, oh, right, okay, we've got this sorted. And then, I mean, look at this, started going everywhere. So I moved down here, got another couple of shots. This one's not too far out. But that's when I decided, well, something's up with this. I need to change my position and shoot from the peg. So I put a new target out, and this was the target from shooting from the peg. Started off here. I shot 4 shots there, I think 3 or 4 shots. I think that's 4 shots, and then I started to get cocky with my 5th one and shot that one. So I thought, oh well, that will teach me. And then I put the 6th one up there. So that's not a bad group. Let's have a look and use my little group thingy. I put my 15 there. You can see, oh, we're losing the target there. If I put my 15 there, easily get those 4 in there. Probably just about get them into a 15 there, probably near a 16. Easily goes in a 20. So I made the adjustment to the windage, a couple of clicks to the right. And then I shot this group and carried on, dropped a few there. So that's 4 pellets in that group there. That's easily in a 15. And say they all go in a 20. So the difference, I was a lot happier after I'd shot this card than this one. So what I need to do now, I'm going to go and do the range card at the Cambridge range, because it's a lot easier doing putting the targets out at the different distances. So obviously I'll check my zero again, then see I might have to make a minor adjustment there to the elevation, and then we will come up with our aim points ready for start practicing HFT. But in the meantime, before then, I'm going to put the rifle over the chrono and see what sort of results we get, and we'll go and look at those results now. Here are the chrono results then for the rifle. 10 shots of JSB exact 8.44 grain pellets. You can see there that we get an average of 777 feet per second, which is 11.32 foot-pound, with a spread of 7 feet per second, which is pretty good, and a standard deviation of 2.6. So that's pretty good results for a brand new Springer, near enough straight out the box. So it'll be interesting to see once everything beds in after we've been using it a while, how that changes. But that's good news for now anyway. Here we are again then. Nothing ever goes to plan, does it? In the last segment I mentioned that my plans were to head over to the range at Cambridge to do the my holdovers, work out my holdovers, and since then the car broke down. The car's in the garage, so I'm stuck at home for the foreseeable until the car's sorted. So we're going to make the best of it, and we're going to try and do what we can here. So rather than bore you with endless number of shots at different distances, I'm just going to put time lapse on the target, and we'll crack on and get that done, and then see what we're going to do about it afterwards. So I'm going to get on with it then and see what happens. Well, I've got my holdover target here, and we'll be talking about that in a minute. But I thought I'd address something else first. Expectations. What are our expectations as airgun shooters whenever we go out on the range? Now, to be honest, yesterday when I was shooting this target, I know I needed to get it done. I felt under pressure to get it done to get the video finished, and I wasn't really feeling it, to be honest, and particularly because the car had broken down and I had to worry about how much that was going to cost me to get it back on the road. But after I finished shooting and started to sort of analyse this target and make all the measurements and work out what my pellet drops and everything was, I realised that actually it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it's funny, I mentioned expectations. Now, you know, you've got to be realistic when you're shooting about what you're going to achieve. I mean, it will be great if every time we go out shooting on the range, we can put every pellet through the same hole of the target. But 99.999999, however far you want to go, percent of the time, it's just not going to happen. So let's just think about why that is, and then hopefully that can help you be a little bit more realistic with your outcomes. First off is the rifle. Okay, you know, most rifles have a spread of muzzle velocity, so every time you shoot a pellet, the muzzle velocity is not going to be exactly the same every shot, so that's going to affect where your pellet goes. Every pellet is going to be slightly different. As much as the manufacturers would like to, they're never going to be able to manufacture a tin of 500 pellets where every single pellet in the tin is perfectly identical. Might be a slight change in weight, size, skirt, anything like that is going to make each shot different. So they're just the mechanical things. Then you've got to think about the weather. If you're shooting outside, unless you've got the perfectly calm day, there's going to be a little bit of breeze. Now, normally we think about wind from a windage point of view, blowing our pellet left or right, but it can have an effect on your elevation as well. The wind can, you know, raise your pellet up, make it hit higher or hit lower. That's outside of our control. So you've got the environmental aspects and you've got the mechanical aspects, and that's not even counting for the human aspects. You know, is your breathing perfectly right? Have you got your, you know, is your heart rate a little bit higher than normal? Have you got the perfect cheek weld on your stock? Is your eye perfectly in alignment? All these things are going to affect your performance and where your pellets land. So I think we need to be a little bit more realistic about you know, what we can achieve, and not be too hard upon ourselves if we're not getting the groupings that we think we should. You know, just be a bit realistic. So anyway, that's that. So what we'll do now is let's analyse this target and see how we got on with our holdovers. Let's quickly have a look at this target then. Starting down where I started, 8 yards. Pretty good line of grouping there, so it was easy to get a measurement there. Similarly, a little bit low on that one, but similarly a good group there to get a measurement. Up at 13 yards, fine. 15, had a couple of flyers, but there was a couple, 3 shots there that were okay. Ignore the 20 and the 25. Went to 30, they're all where I would have expected them to be. Come down to 35 yards, and yeah, we've got a pretty good line there to work out a pellet drop. Come down to 40, had a couple really way out the way there, but this group here was is good enough to work out an average pellet drop. Unfortunately, I couldn't do 45 because I can't see my target from prone at that distance, so we've skipped that. And so all of that data then I put into my little spreadsheet, and I'll show you results. What I've done then is just measured the pellet drop for all of the individual pellet strikes in each of the groups, and taken the average and put them in this little spreadsheet that I've written, that just basically converts my millimetre pellet drop to what my holdover is in mils on my 10 times reticle. So you can see here then we've got you know, 21 mils at 8, 15 at 10, 13 at 13. It runs down. Also, what I did as well is I put the shooting bench out at 50 yards, which is about as far as I can shoot in my garden, to measure a pellet drop at maximum distance, so that I could use that in my ballistic calculator to work out the ballistic coefficient of the pellets on the day, and I got a 72 millimetre pellet drop. And as you can see on the side here, that equates to the same as these figures from a ballistic calculator, so that makes an adjustment, so I can make a comparison to what the ballistic calculator thinks that my pellet drops should have been and what my holdovers should be. So you can see, going through them here, I actually got 21 mils at 8 yards, and the ballistic calculator is saying it should have been 19, so we're only 3 mils out. Not much difference in the aim point, really, to be honest. Again here, 15 mils at 10 yards, Mero ballistic calculator says 14, 13 yards and 8, 5 and 5, 4 and 4, 10, 13, 21, 28, and I didn't have a 45, Mero's saying 47. So you can see what I've experienced in reality is not significantly different to what the ballistic calculator is saying that I should achieve. So that's all good news. So the next step is then just to see if they work in practice. So how does that affect my range card then? Well, here we go. On the left here is the range card from the pellet drops that I shot, and on the right is the range card that the ballistic calculator is suggesting. So you can see here, if we go down to 8 yards, that's saying 2.5 mil dots, and what we're doing here, just short of 2.5 on what I've experienced. 40 yards, well, 43, they're saying 1 mil dot, so not too dissimilar. So when we get out on the range, we'll check to see which one is the most accurate, but to be honest, I don't think there's going to be that much in it, because the differences here are going to be very difficult to use. You know, I tend to rely on using half and full mil dots for my aim points, rather than trying to work out, you know, 0.4 or 0.7 or whatever. So this is what we're going to use then when we do our practice to validate. That's all I have for you for this video then. hope you found that interesting. Remember what I said about expectations. I think at some time in the future I will be revisiting that by putting out a video on human factors, which if you're competing at all, I think is very important. And you know, sports psychology is a big thing. So it will be interesting to see how we can use some of these psychology aspects to improve our shooting. So if you don't want to miss that and future parts of this project, then you know what to do. In part 3 of this How Low Can You Go project, what we'll be doing is I guess we'll be doing some practice with some flop over targets and also some paper targets to make sure that our holdovers that we're using are valid. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.